Hello, welcome. Today, Melissa Bennett, who as I Heart Fourth Grade, is going to give you an introduction started with students and checking their progress. Before we begin, I'm Mary Elmeg. I'm one of the co-founders of Boom Learning.
Thank you. So I'm Melissa. Thank you so much for joining me. Just like with any digital learning tool, there is a little bit of a learning curve. So I know that once you get started with Boom, you're absolutely going to love it. With this distance learning that we're experiencing right now across the country, Boom is the perfect tool to start using with your students in your classroom. So looking at some of the questions that I'm seeing on Facebook and trying to share out helpful tips and ideas, I wanted to hop on here with Mary today to give a brief webinar on how to share student information directly with the student, whether you're using Google Classroom or another digital communication platform. A common thing you may have to do is reset student passwords. So I'm going to show you how to reset passwords. I'm going to show you how to create assignments for your student and where to access the reports so you can keep up with what your student has completed. So I'm going to do a screen share. So this is the home screen. You're going to want to click on your blue classes button. I have a demonstration class for this webinar. Here you will see the students that are enrolled in my class currently. I did not set this up using Google Classroom. So I can share the link to this classroom two ways. I could copy this URL that's right here up at the top, and the students can log in that way. They would copy in or click on that link, and they would get to see everyone in their classroom, and they would type in their specific password. A better way to do that is if you set up your classroom. I'm going to add another student. So I'm going to add a new student. Type in their password. But Doug's username is a little bit funky. That's not user friendly. So I'm going to click on Doug's username and make it a little bit more personal. So he's going to be Doug E. It likes that. So then he would sign in on Boom. He would click on student sign in, and he would sign in with Boom and type in Doug E and then his password. And he would have access to whatever his teacher has assigned for him. If you're integrating through Google Classroom, you'll have to import your classroom. I won't be able to do that from this login, but I could post a video on Facebook on how to do that. So now that we have the students enrolled in our classroom and we know how to change their username to something more personal, now you want to know how to create assignments. So if you have downloaded Boom Decks from the Boom Learning Store, they now live in your library. So the great thing is you can assign student work right from here in your classroom. So if you click on assignments, you'll see that there is nothing in the classroom right now. So I'm going to click on the blue, assign more decks. And everything that I own or have created that's in my library will show up right here. So I'm going to click, I made a folder for today. And anything in this folder that I want to assign to my class, I will just put a check mark, and all the students in that class will receive those decks. So if we go and we click on Dave and we click on his report, you'll see that those decks showed up immediately and they're ready to be used. Now let's say that Dave is more advanced and I want him to work on something just for him that I don't want the rest of the class to have. I can click on Dave and I could click on assign, and I can pick something else for Dave to work on. So Dave can work on just that, and only Dave has received those decks. Also from this page, you can see the reports. My advice to you is to play around in your library and create folders so it's easy to access reports. So everything that I just assigned to them is in my folder 1. If they were working on it, I would click on the deck and I would see their progress right here. This is typically what shows up there. I didn't want to pull up my students in my classroom, but this is what I see. This is updated since I took this screenshot. They're not red anymore, they are green. So if the students were working on this boom deck, I could see what their score was, how long they spent on that boom deck. If I click directly on that circle, I would get to see the student's report. So clicking on that circle, I could see that the student had an accuracy of 63%. And then if I click on that red bar, I can see exactly what the student missed. So I can access all of that from the class page. Another great feature, if I wanted to look at my whole class, is that Boom offers an item analysis. So in this Boom deck, this was the most missed question from all the students that completed it. And then I can begin to analyze what I need to review with my students to fix this area of weakness. So if you are not in the class view and you're in your library view, this is where all of your Boom cards are stored. You can assign right from your library as well. So you could click the blue action button and you can assign, and then all the classes that you have, you can just check. And all the classes will receive those decks at once. You'll also see from this blue action button from the decks in your library that you can do hyperplay link. So if you click on that, you can share this right here. I typically use this if I create a fast pin. And this right here doesn't require the students to log in. You would just copy this fast play link and post it in ClassDojo or Seesaw or Google Classroom, and it wouldn't require the students to log in. But with that being said, you also won't see the student reports from the fast play option. Generate as many fast pins as you want directly from your library. So once again, everything that you have downloaded from the Boom store will be located in your library. So here's all of my decks. And if you click this blue box where it says action and you click fast pin, this fast pin will expire in 7 days. So I would, if I'm sharing this on ClassDojo, I would copy this link right here and post this in ClassDojo. I could also just give them this code, 9M9Z, and the students would go right here to boomlearning.com, type in the fast pin, which was 9M9Z, and the deck would appear right here and the students would type in their answers. So you could have a page of maybe 4 decks you want them to practice, and you would just generate 4 fast pin plays.
We have a question. If you import a Google Classroom, do children still need to sign up separately with Boom? The answer is no. You choose one or the other. You're logged in, correct?
When the students click student sign in, this will be the first thing that they see, and they'll have a choice to whether to sign in with Boom. That's if you haven't integrated or uploaded your Google Classroom. But if you have integrated your Google Classroom, you'll want to click sign in with Google. My students for math, they click in sign with Boom, and then my coworker just created an account and they sign in with Google. So I'm having to do some back and forth with some of the students because they want to sign in both ways. After you get set up, if you have started downloading Boom cards and you find them in your library, one of the things that I waited too long to do was to sort them into folders because it makes everything easier to find. I have a lot of people asking, how do I know what grade it is? In your library, you can sort that however you want, and it's a really easy drag and drop. So that's my biggest piece of advice. After you get this started is to start creating folders.
And on the folders, some of you are on devices like Macs that disguise our scroll bar. If you're not seeing the scroll for your folders, try the track wheel on your mouse or your trackpad. It does scroll, but sometimes your system might hide the scrolling tool from you, but Viper or track wheel, you'll be able to find it. Thank you, everyone.